With the newest update in Season 3 of Black Ops Cold War, we got a bunch of new content and some changes that were made with regards to zombies related content. We got some Outbreak content, some Onslaught content, and we got to see the return of Cranked, which was a secondary game mode that we got in Season 1. However, this is not exactly the same Cranked. It's a little bit different and it's sort of an improved version of the old one, which is why they're calling it Cranked 2. No Time to Crank. Which is very accurate because the entire purpose of this game mode is to elevate your blood pressure and eventually give you a heart attack. I already made a review of the first version, and while it had some problems, I thought it was a solid game mode, and this new version has definitely improved on some of the issues of the old one and is overall a better experience. While the changes they made might look small and insignificant on paper, they do make a big difference, and I think that's been a bit of a recurring theme in Cold War Zombies. Because all the gameplay mechanics that are implemented in the game have an impact and are not ignored or underutilized, a small change to any of them can actually make a difference. And while that's a sign of good game design, it's also kind of a double-edged sword. Because every time something changes, it can make the experience drastically better or drastically worse. There are three major changes in the newer version of Cranked. One is that you now start the game with a knife. You can pick your field upgrade, but you cannot have a starting weapon. And two is that now the mystery box will be active on all locations in the map at all times. And the third change is that now the frequency of the support items in the mystery box has been significantly increased. So when you hit the mystery box, there's a very good chance that you're gonna get a support item. I actually think you get more support items now than you get actual weapons. These three changes alone have done wonders in making Cranked an overall better game mode. The way you play this game mode is very simple. You basically keep killing zombies until you have enough points to pack a punch and get all your perks, and then you just have to camp. Because the very nature of this game mode requires you to never stop shooting zombies, so you can't really train, therefore you have to camp. And the problem with the old version was that when you did have enough points to hit the mystery box, you couldn't really move and get to the box, because by then the timer wouldn't give you enough time to do anything other than kill zombies over and over. And one of the other things that I had an issue with in the first version was this power-up that would stop the timer for 10 seconds. It was really rare and it was random, and when you did get it, you couldn't really do anything with it because 10 seconds was not enough time to hit the mystery box. But now in this new version, you have a mystery box in every location in the map, and in combination with Speed Cola, which makes the mystery box spin a lot faster, that power-up actually becomes useful now because you can get to the box and hit it at least a couple times to get what you need. Of course, it's not always easy to do that, but at least now it's much more of a possibility than it was before. So you can get to your desired weapon arsenal faster, and you have much more access to support items, which makes a big difference. Another change they made is that now if the timer hits 0, you won't implode if you have a self-revive or tombstone or quick revive. So if you have any means of reviving yourself, the game does allow you to take advantage of those second chances. One small issue I stumbled upon is that when you go into shadow form with Tombstone, the timer still counts down. And if you're in the later rounds when the timer is only 5 seconds, that basically makes it impossible to revive yourself with Tombstone, which makes Tombstone completely unusable. I think the timer should stop counting down when you're in shadow form, just to give you enough time to get through the reviving animation. Thankfully, they do stop the timer when you go through the teleporter or the chopper gunner animation, so at least we have that. One more thing I found to be kind of interesting is that the 5th tier upgrade for Juggernog is a little game breaking, and I'm pretty sure that it's not intentional. With the 5th tier upgrade of Juggernog, when you take a lethal hit, instead of going down, your health goes all the way down to 1 and all of your armor gets depleted. Now in Cranked 2, when the timer hits 0, it counts as a lethal hit. So if you have Jug and the timer reaches 0, instead of going down, your health goes down to 1 and you lose all of your armor. And what's interesting is that the timer goes away, and it only restarts when you kill a zombie. So technically, you could let the timer hit 0, and then you could just run around and get everything that you need. There's potential for some exploits here, and I don't think that's what Treyarch intended to do. There's one more thing Treyarch improved on. If you remember in the first version, there was a big problem with the dog rounds. They would take too long to spawn in, and after the end of the dog round, the zombies would take too long to spawn back in. So a lot of the times, you could easily get screwed by dog round, disrupting the flow of the game and potentially killing you through no fault of your own. In Crank 2, thankfully, there are no dog rounds, which is such a relief. I'm just glad they learned from their mistakes and got rid of the problem altogether. The game mode still has some problems though, and I don't know if we're gonna get a Crank 3, but if we are, I hope they manage to make it even better by getting rid of some of those issues. Now, besides the issue with Tombstone, there are some other negatives present in this game mode. For example, the wonder weapons are really hard to get. It's a lot easier in D Machina because the Megaton will sometimes drop a weapon when you kill him, and sometimes that weapon could be a wonder weapon. But when you play Firebase Z, getting the Reiki is so much more difficult. You have to hit the mystery box in some of the later rounds, which is a very risky move, or I think you can build it, but I'm definitely not going to attempt to do that because, to be honest with you, I'm not even sure how that would work, and even if it did work, it would be a giant pain in the ass and would probably take years of psychological therapy to recover from. And since this game mode is all about pressuring you non-stop, having a wonder weapon is integral for your survival. So that's one issue. Another problem is that now in D Machina, you don't have to build a Pack-a-Punch machine, you can just turn on the power, which is basically just pressing a button, and that will give you access to Pack-a-Punch. You don't have to go into the Dark Ether and open the portals or do any of that. But in Firebase Z, turning on the power is not as simple as pressing a button. So you actually have to do all 3 Ether reactors just like you do in a normal game of zombies in order to gain access to the Pack-a-Punch machine, which makes Firebase Z a little bit more annoying to play. This game mode is not designed in a way as to give you an opportunity to set up. You're constantly in action, so trying to juggle multiple tasks at once, as well as killing zombies, becomes a bit of a headache, and I just didn't find that aspect of this game mode to be that enjoyable. In the first version of Cranked, you had access to wall buys and you could choose your own starting weapon. In Cranked 2, the wall buys have been disabled, and you're no longer allowed to choose what weapon you start with. Everybody just starts with a knife. I think this was done to encourage everybody to rely on the mystery box to get set up, and I can somewhat understand what they were going for. Sometimes in a game mode as chaotic as this, less consistency is better. And because this game mode is so fast-paced, chances are most people would rather go with the safe option of a rare wall buy than taking a chance with the mystery box. In a game mode like this, if you're a casual player, you're probably not going to be able to think and choose between different options in the middle of the game, especially if one of the options is a lot less safe than the other one. So the presence of the wall buys could make the mystery box much less of a viable option and perhaps even make it obsolete, at least to some of the casual players. And to eliminate that potential problem, Treyarch kind of took the easy way out and disabled all the wall buys along with the crafting table so that you only have one single source from which you can get everything you need. I don't think this is necessarily a bad idea, but the mystery box needs some tuning to accommodate these changes. If you really want a weapon that's going to help you survive in this game, you're going to have to hit the mystery box at a point in the game where it's very risky to do so, simply because not only are the zombies going to be much faster and much stronger, but the timer is going to be a lot less forgiving as well. And if you choose to hit the mystery box then, chances are if the zombies don't get you, then the timer probably will. This is an issue that could be solved easily. All they have to do is make the mystery box give you better weapons a lot earlier in the game. Instead of giving you epic weapons starting on round 20, they can give you epic weapons at the start of round 11 or maybe 12. And that would actually make a big difference in enabling you to get set up much earlier in the game, since you're gonna be dealing with a lot of pressure past round 25. And that would also alleviate some of the frustrations that stems from hitting the mystery box over and over again, only to get mediocre weapons that you might not even need. This is of course a bit polarizing. Some people like it, some people hate it. It's a little subjective. Some people want as much freedom as possible. They want to pick their starting weapons, they want to have wall buys, and they want to have the mystery box. Some other people look at this game mode as a challenge and they don't want to be given as many options because it could make it too easy. It's a bit tricky because it depends on what kind of player you are. I like this game mode, and while Crank 2 has some issues, I think overall it is an improvement on the original and is a much better experience, and I'm gonna be sad to see it go yet again. That is gonna do it for today's video. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of Crank 2. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.